Hey family, hope y'all doing well this morning. And like I say, this is kind of my family and Kelly's family, and anybody else that obviously wants to see it because it's public. I'm not gonna hide what I'm saying. If y'all will go scroll on down my Facebook page, and there's a video shared where I shared it, where a little girl is going through Walmart, throwing stuff in the floor, breaking bottles, and there's a bunch of adults around there that's saying, don't touch her, she's a little girl, and they're just letting her tear it up, and of course you don't know where the parents are at. And it could be a staged video, they'll stage them to get views, but I think I can make the point with it, because it's that kind of behavior out of these kids is not that far outside of what we might witness one day. A kid going through a store just terrorizing it, and nobody doing anything about it. They had adults doing it out there in San Francisco, and I think up at Washington State, because of the law, the local law passed a law that they could loot as long as it didn't go over $1,000 or something. Couldn't do nothing to them. And then the stores moved out of those areas. Now, why am I saying this? Well, y'all know that I didn't come to any of the Thanksgiving get-togethers. I didn't come to any of them because of Cody and Lindsay. But that little girl there exemplifies in the physical what I'm not going to be around in the spiritual with Lindsay and Cody. And Cody, because he's the man of the house, okay? Now, Cody did all that crap to his mama. And he did it. And then they finally come down and did that final act, and I went on social media about it. And it's one of the most embarrassing things that I could have ever thought that one of my sons would have done to their mama, okay? But then, after I put it on social media, like I say, me and Cody had a discussion, and then he went to blaming me for whipping his butt. And he was about the age of that little girl on that video when I got on him real hard about going in and out of my window, is what I remember. And he brought that up in that conversation. But look at that little girl, what she's doing. And nobody's stopping her. And then we come on down the line, and Cody said something else to me about what I did to him when he was a teenager, and I got on him hard. And he talked about me raising sand at my house sometimes about some things that wasn't going on right. Well, look at that little video on Walmart there where those adults was letting that little girl tear up that store and saying don't do nothing to her. And then some adult is going to have to come in there, get control of that little girl, and every one of them adults need to be screamed at and hollered at for letting that little girl do that. Because she's not just tearing the store up, but she's tearing herself up. If it's not a staged video, if it's a real video. Because that little girl's headed to a dark place in her life if somebody don't get between her and where she's headed. If it's a real video. And it's a shame that the police is going to have to step in on that little girl. Where's the parents? And then where's them other adults? How many of those adults are responsible for that behavior? You know what I mean? And then other adults, are they going to come back to that store? What if that's in a bad neighborhood and they let that crap go on? Nobody's saying you should abuse the kid, but it's got to be stopped. And that's at the parents' discretion. If the parents was there, they need to bust her tail. Well, Cody complained to me about all this crap, but watch that little girl right there. And that's why I keep going back to the fact that my kids left my house completely functional, no jail, no criminal records, no jail time, no tattoos, no babies out here in the world, bought their own home, is working at one of the best corporations in the state of Alabama, if not the best. And they can make their own decisions. They're learning how to, they don't learn, they know how to buy stocks and bonds. They know how to do plumbing and carpenter work. But Cody did in the spiritual what this little girl did to that store to his mama and me and his family, his mama's family mainly. This is the deal, family. That's why that man ain't coming back around me no more. I'm done with Cody. and Lindsay. I blame it. I blame it on Lindsay because I feel like she's probably one of them. She was probably one of them timeout children that she never got her butt busted. Because she's not as quality of a woman as Cody was a man. She's just not. And just like that little girl is doing what she wants to, Lindsay just, I feel like, had some kind of mental issue. Probably still does. That little girl's got a mental issue. You just don't do to your mama what Cody did to his mama. And then they did to the family. You just don't do it. And like I say, I told y'all about Cody arguing with the police. Well, I add all this up. And when I seen that little girl in that store, it went directly through my mind. Cody made an excuse for the crap that he did when he was a little kid, and he could have ended up just like that little girl and ended up where she's headed, but he didn't. But he did end up arguing with the police after he was out of my house. And he did end up running his mama. That's the thing about this. This is so willful about him, what he did to his mama. It's not unforgiveness. He ain't coming back around me, just like I wouldn't be around that little girl. Not unless you know, you've seen some kind of change. But Cody's responsible because he's the man. But I blame that on Lindsay and her mom and daddy because they had to raise her to think that what they did was okay to my, you know, what they did to my wife was okay. And it's never going to be okay with me. And they're adults and I can't do anything about it. But they're going to stay away from me. And I'm not going to be around them. This is horrible. But that little girl was allowed to tear up that store. And family, I'm telling you this right here. Y'all let Cody come back around for Thanksgiving, and I wouldn't have let him come back around. He's not allowed at my house. He's not ever allowed at my house or any of my properties ever again. It ain't got to do anything that I don't love him. I'm having to get prepared for what he's going to end up doing one day if he don't correct himself. And this that I'm doing is a little bit of a way to correct him. Hey, wake up, dummy. Hey, wake up, dummy. You're too stupid to be even thinking that you can do your mama that way and you're a good person while screaming at me on the phone about how I busted your tail. While there's videos out here now of children acting the way that you would have probably acted if I hadn't busted your tail because you didn't see anything wrong with what you was doing. You know, family, y'all let him come back around. And I mean, I'm not mad at you, but I'm not coming around him. He's not a good person. He did in the spiritual to my wife and me and my wife's family what that little girl did to that store. And if you can't correct the little girl, and you can't correct Cody, and you can't, he's an adult, you got to stay away from him. Because they're not tearing up my life no more. And I got a feeling that Lindsay was probably one of those timeout children. And I can't hardly even stand the thoughts of looking at Lindsay. She makes me want to puke.